Champions for hire.
Welcome back to Genius for Hire. I'm Matthew Perry. With me today, the whole gang, Will Polston, Jamil King, and RJ Strope. And we're back, our Week 15 Pick'em. I'll give you an update after last week's standings. I won last week. I went 11-3. I'm proud of myself. Will and RJ went 10-4, and Jamil's plan to differentiate himself from Will backfired. He's 9-5. He took a step back in the standings. Jamil 8 games back, RJ 9, and I had moved the game up. I'm 12 back, so it's still chilling in the.
You're catching up.
Yeah, I'm making it close.
Anybody see?
Hey, the Lions look good early.
Honestly, at halftime, like I didn't hate the pick.
The boys went down by 4. Boys were playing football. They were playing inspired.
But I went 11-3, so I can't really be upset about it. We got 3 islands and 2 splits this week. Some exciting stuff. I have nothing to do with it, but I'm gonna talk over all of it. We'll start with the islands, and we'll start with Jamil's. He picked the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Tennessee Titans. Jamil, tell us why.
Oh boy, the Steelers. They screwed me over last week big time. I went on my soapbox. I went off on the Minnesota Vikings. I said they can't be trusted, and they looked absolutely dominant until they didn't, and they looked like they couldn't be trusted again. That's all I'm saying. They looked like they couldn't be trusted again. Then Chase Claypool was an idiot, and he lost the Steelers the game. The Steelers, they still somehow, though, find themselves right on the cusp of a playoff spot. This is a must-win game for them. There's only about 4 weeks left in this season. This is another team that the Titans are going to make the playoffs because their division just isn't very that good, even though the Colts are right there with the Steelers. But the Steelers have to win if they want to win at the playoffs. I think they bounce back. Possibly Chase Claypool is. I think he might get benched, and we'll see if that can spark a fire under them.
Will, why the Titans?
Jamila just had to find a way to differentiate. That's why
you're not wrong.
I heard there could be rumblings that King Henry might be back this week.
Wait, what?
Which is a nice little addition.
Way.
I've heard that there could be a chance to where he does make a return this week. It did say 6 to 10 weeks, and I've heard recovery is going mighty well. Now, is it confirmed? Is he 100% in? Not yet. But I heard there could be a little bit of I've heard around the grapevine that there could be a little bit of a King Henry sighting this week. Is that 100%? Obviously I'm not a fantasy guru. I'm not a beat writer. I don't know what's going on. So don't take my word for it. But the Titans have also been just more of a consistent team this year. The offensive struggles of Pittsburgh make me worry about them unless I'm taking them against a team that I think is just absolutely atrocious. Should have known from the minute Jamil and I both went against the Vikings that the Vikings were going to win. It was clear as day. And this is a game where you would think without Derrick Henry, this is a game that the Steelers could pull it out, which is exactly why I went against it, because the Steelers are just, again, one of many flip-floppity teams this year, where they play up to their opponents, but they also play down to their opponents. This just seems like a game that could easily get away from Pittsburgh. The defense of Tennessee has played much better this year than they did in previous years. I'd like to think that they can make something happen and find a way to beat Pittsburgh on what are they? They're a Sunday game, aren't they?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's not really human, so it wouldn't shock me if he came back sooner than expected.
Yeah, CD's trying to come back for the playoffs. I don't think he can come back.
I don't know where I heard. Maybe my sources are not exactly reliable, but
I'd be impressed if he comes back and plays before the playoffs.
I've heard around the grapevine. I would still take the Titans regardless of Derrick Henry or not, just because it's the Steelers. And they're a very flip-floppity team. As soon as you believe in them, they let you down. As soon as you count them out, they're right back in it. So basically,
like the Vikings.
They have a bad game against the Vikings. You're going to think, hey, Pittsburgh's going to show up, which makes me think they're not. So give me the Titans to win this game.
All right, we'll move to our second island. It's the ugly girl fight of the week. It's the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. For some reason, RJ on an island selected the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He loves the Jaguars.
The Houston Texans. He does. I don't know why. It's just Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But RJ, please explain.
This isn't the ugly girl fight of the week. This is the homeless girl fight of the week. I mean, this shit's bad. These are the two worst teams in football, and I really don't think it's close. But listen,
Detroit.
the game's in Jacksonville. All right. Not that that means anything. I think the game can be played in my backyard. I don't think it would change the outcome in this.
It had
At
the same
some
attendance.
point,
I'll tell you that.
You guys know I love Trevor Lawrence. I say it every week on here. I want to pick him to win, and I never get the chance to. So you know what? We're going to do it this week because they're playing another trash team in Houston that can't do anything right. At some point, Trevor Lawrence needs to take over and be the guy. And what I mean by that is Urban Meyer is an absolute train wreck of a coach in the NFL. I personally, I actually kind of like Urban Meyer. I wish he would have stayed in college football. He's one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. But this experiment of him going to Jacksonville and him trying to run it the way he always ran, Florida or Ohio State, it's over. Like, this dude has 4 weeks left of being an NFL coach, and then he can go back to being on TV or, go get another college job. I don't know, but he's got 4 weeks left as an NFL coach. Everyone knows it. He's turned on his coaches. The roster is just not talented at all. At some point, Touchdown Jesus is going to have to save the rest of that team. And it's got to be this Sunday in front of a home crowd against another team in Houston that can't hit their ass with either hand either. This is the game where Trevor Lawrence reminds everybody why he was the number one pick. Forget Urban Meyer. Forget the other 52 players that are garbage. This game is about Trevor Lawrence reminding everybody he's still QB1 from this draft class.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. The Texans are coming off a loss too, but the Jaguars were shut out last week by the Titans, who do have a pretty good defense. But I don't know. I personally don't have much confidence in Trevor Lawrence right now because, I mean, there's only so much you could do with that roster. Like you said, it's not talented. But Jamil, let me get your thoughts on the Texans.
I went with the Texans because they actually didn't look well. I didn't see a lot of the game, but from what I saw, they looked actually a little bit competent against the Seahawks. I don't know if the Seahawks being absolutely horrible or them playing good, but I just trust them a little bit more than the Jaguars, specifically because we don't know what's happening in Jacksonville, the coaching thing. We got Urban Meyer turning on people, talking about what have y'all won when he's the one that hired them. So that one really confused me why he even asked that. But wow. I think there's too much going on internally with Jacksonville, and I think the Texans will take advantage of that and win an ugly game.
Well, I can't say it's going to be fun, but football will be played. That's the least we could say.
People will be in the stands. Football will be played.
At least 3 to 10 people will be in the stands for the game. And
preseason, whichever. Oh, it was you. Me and you did that division, and we talked about how whenever that game comes, we'll see how many people are in the stands for that one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the attendance count for that one. It's gonna be maybe quadruple digits, something like that.
So you're saying it's going to look like a Rays home game at the Trop?
Hey!
A Tuesday night in June. Yeah,
Wow.
It happens. We'll move to the Monday night game, and for some reason they keep giving the Bears primetime games. What have they done to earn that?
Not a damn thing.
They're taking on Minnesota, who, me and RJ, I believe, me and RJ right now are pretty big fans of, right? Let me check. Yeah.
We tried to tell y'all.
Yeah. We posted that. Yes, we posted that clip. Minnesota, you got to have faith in them. And 3 of us do. And whether it's to just differentiate, flex, claim his home team, he's not keen to do this often, but for some reason, Will has picked his Chicago Bears to defeat Kirk Cousins and the Vikings on primetime. That's another primetime win for Kirk Cousins, by the way. Let's talk about it. Let's mention that. He's having a great year, folks. You got to kind of start riding with him because he's legit. Is he elite? Maybe. I don't know. I could talk about it, but
definitely not elite. Let's calm all that down.
But Will, now that you're back, why did you pick the Bears to win this game?
Sorry, I just realized my laptop wasn't charged and I was about to die.
I thought you were getting some Bears gear.
No.
So did I.
No, it was
Thought we were gonna have props.
But one thing I do always remember is that it was November 16th, 2020. It was a 3-5 Minnesota Vikings team walked into Soldier Field against a 5-4 Bears team, hosted by an 0-9 on Monday Night Football, Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins slapped his meat on Soldier Field and beat the streak. And I have not slept right every day since. A team that was led by Nicholas Foles and led rushing by Cordero Patterson got beaten prime time by a winless Kirk Cousins who could have gone 0-10 on Monday Night Football, but it's time to get revenge. It is time to end the narrative. We will no longer fall victim to Kirk Cousins, and we will reverse it. Kirk Cousins will go back to being a bum on Monday Night Football. We will have him in Soldier Field. This will be the Justin Fields game where Justin Fields proves he's a quarterback, where he can prove that he's going to be an elite stand. He's going to be an elite talent in the league. Justin Fields is going to show up. Give me some Darnell Money Mooney points. Give me a Jimmy Graham touchdown. Give me some David Montgomery rushing yards, probably over 100, and give me the defense actually showing up for once. Maybe we're actually going to play and have a backbone and actually play for somebody other than Matt Nagy, because it is time to get Nagy the hell up out of Chicago. But it is time to show that you are worth staying on this team when this new coach comes in. And it all starts with a Minnesota team missing half their defense and an offense that is very inconsistent. They just got a big statement win over a solid defense in Pittsburgh. It's time to flip the script. Divisional games are always closer. We bring them into Soldier Field. We slap it on them. Justin Fields, 3 tutties. Call me 3 tutty Fields, and we walk out in a close game.
3 tutty Fields.
Bears get the.
I don't know.
That was a lot to unpack.
It was.
Y'all wrote all that down?
Yeah, he wants them to show backbone.
We'll assess it later.
Backbone. 3 tutty
Nagy,
Fields.
3 tutty Fields.
Consistent
3
Vikings
tutties.
offense.
Kirk Cousins slapped his meat on Soldier Field.
Mhm.
Hey, he
absolutely.
did.
I do remember that.
16th, 2020. He slapped his meat on Chicago, and it will not happen again.
Okay, if you say so.
For as long
I
as
admire.
live. We
I
will
admire
prove that both Matt Nagy and Coach Zimmer are both out of a job after this season, and we will prove it on Monday night.
I admire the optimism and the positivity. I just don't know if that's something I can get behind right now. Kirk Cousins, 27
We don't need
touchdowns,
you.
5 interceptions. Elite?
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyone have anything else to add on that one?
Justin Fields
Absolutely
proves
not.
he's elite this
I
year.
would just like to say, you asked, what do the Bears do to keep being put in prime time? I think this is beautiful. Let's put Matt Nagy on national television, make that man look bad again, so the whole country can be united in one thing, and that is that Matt Nagy does not deserve to be a head coach in the National Football League.
Both
I don't know
coaches
anyone who
are
disagrees.
on such hot seats. Like, if the Bears actually win this game, both coaches are gone. They have to be. Like,
Yeah,
they
Zimmer's
have
on
to
a
be.
Zimmer might be gone, man.
I think Zimmer's gone. He's on a hot seat. Nagy's obviously a little bit closer to gone, but I think Zimmer's right there behind.
We'll see what happens with the hot seats. Neither team looking like playoffs, but we're playing for pride and for our jobs if you're Matt Nagy and Mike Zimmer. We'll hit the splits, and this is a potential playoff matchup, the Colts and Patriots. RJ and I taking the Colts, while Will and Jamil are taking the Pats. Will, I'll start with you. Why the Patriots?
Patriots have allowed the least amount of rushing touchdowns this season. Their rushing defense has been pretty stellar. They're kind of like a bend, don't break on the rushing part. They've been a team that allows quite a bit of yards, but has been very locked down in the red zone. Winners of 8 straight, coming off of a bye week. Colts also coming off of a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. So both teams are rested, which will be fun to watch. But the Patriots are just like on another level right now. Their defense is playing great. Their running attack has been very, very impressive. And this is a team, the Colts team, that allows both teams defense are pretty well against the run. They're both very good in general. But the Patriots defense against the run has just been a little bit more they put a little bit more of a punctuation on it. Like I said, only allowed 6 rushing touchdowns so far this season. And obviously that's the Colts bread and butter. I think it's going to be a close game. It'll be a fun game. But I still think the Patriots have enough to get it done.
RJ, why the Colts?
I don't know. I already don't like this at all. Bill Belichick is not about to lose to this fraud ass franchise in Indianapolis that hung a banner for being an AFC finalist a few years ago. So I already don't like the fact that I picked the Colts, but we're going to ride with them anyway. And here's why. The Patriots might have the best rush defense in the league. They might have all these numbers for this, for that. They ain't played Jonathan Taylor yet. And that man, you said Derrick Henry wasn't human. Jonathan Taylor might not be human. That's one of the most disrespected college football players I ever saw. All he did was run for 2,000 yards every year. Comes to the NFL, doesn't miss a beat. The dude is already one of the best running backs in the entire league. Indy's playing better. They're fighting for a playoff spot. New England's fighting just to be the 1 seed. Indianapolis is fighting for their playoff lives. Like, they could easily be out. If Cleveland starts getting hot and if Buffalo can play like they played in the second half against the Bucs, Indianapolis is going to be on the outside looking in. They have a home game against the number 1 seed, a franchise that fan base does not like. You better show up and beat them. Jonathan Taylor has to have a huge game, and that's the way it's going to be.
How'd JT never win a Heisman?
Because Wisconsin, right?
He did.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not Derrick Henry's Alabama. It's in a different way.
I put up some stupid numbers though.
Disrespected.
If you don't know about if you don't know necessarily the numbers, go look at the numbers in college.
He ran for 2,000 yards every year. The dude
I think every single season. Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, the Colts definitely have more to prove here than the Patriots. Like you said, fighting for lives compared to the 1 seed. Definitely different circumstances, but either way, it should be one of the better games this week. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll move to our next split. It's an NFC East matchup. Also, one of the uglier fights this week. It's the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, RJ and I are staying together on this one with the Washington football team, while Will and Jamil are taking the Eagles. Jamil, I'll start with you. Why the Eagles?
As much as I've hated on Jalen Hurts in the past on the show about his ability of throwing the football, not his football playing ability, I think he's a phenomenal football player. I think he's going to do enough to beat this Washington team. Washington, they're coming off that loss against the Cowboys. And I think that the Eagles, they have an offense that can take advantage of a little bit of a leaky secondary they have over there in Washington. They have some playmakers. Obviously, the 2 weeks ago before the bye, they played good. And with Jalen Hurts not playing, but I think Jalen's going to come back. He's going to know that the people in Philadelphia are going to say about Gardner Minshew played good, so I'm have to watch your back. And I think he's going to show up, and I think he's going to do a good job. I think he's going to lead them to a win.
RJ, why Washington?
Because Jalen Hurts is playing and not Gardner Minshew. If Gardner Minshew ends up starting this game, y'all can go ahead and change my pick to Philly because I'm not betting against that guy. That dude is a stud. GMs for Hire needs to sponsor Gardner Minshew. I love that guy. That is the Ricky Stenhouse of the NFL right there.
Big Gardner Minshew guy.
Big Gardner Minshew guy right here. Absolutely love him. So if Jalen Hurts is playing, we're going with Washington. As bad as Washington looked last week, they're also still fighting for a playoff spot. And you can thank Jerry Jones and all the other owners that wanted to add that 7th spot in each league because there's going to be a bad team that gets in the NFC, and it might be Washington. You talked about Minnesota, Mike Zimmer leaving. It might be Minnesota that gets that last spot. It might also be Washington. There's going to be a bad team that gets in and has to go on the road against the 2 seed, which right now would be the Bucs, in the first round. So Washington's still fighting for their playoff lives. I guess technically Philly is too. But if Jalen Hurts is playing quarterback, we're going Washington. If Minshew ends up starting for some reason, I'm changing my pick to Philly.
He said for some reason.
Minshew looked really impressive. That last start definitely looked better than Hurts has looked in most of the games this season. So, you can count me in for changing the pick too. I sent it to you guys when they announced he was starting. I was like, this is going to be electric. But that's it for our splits. We'll now fly through the unanimous picks. We'll start with another divisional matchup. It's the Chiefs and the Chargers. This one's pretty big because if I'm not mistaken, the Chargers are also kind of fighting for their playoff lives. They're towards in the hunt to maybe, right on the edge of playoff contention. The Chiefs are hot though, very hot. They just beat the brakes off the Raiders again. And all four of us are going to ride with the Chiefs. Will, tell us why.
Because rest in piss, Austin Eckler. Because Austin Eckler going down literally gets rid of like 75% of that offense. If he's out, I know they injured late in the game. I know he got injured late in the game last week. I know he was having trouble putting weight back on his leg. I don't know if he's in or out, but if he is out, this is not going to be fun.
I got
for San Diego
nothing.
or for LA. What is it?
He was a non-participant in today's practice, but it's listed as Coach Staley said it's nothing major, and that he should be back in practice before Thursday night's game. So it doesn't seem like a big problem, and he'll probably be likely to play Thursday. Not 100%, but I think he'll play.
For the way he was acting whenever he got taken off the field, it definitely didn't look promising.
Right.
But then again, Chargers, another one of those teams, very flip-floppy. Chiefs were, obviously everybody was kind of gung-ho. Everybody's always gung-ho as long as 15 is the quarterback on the Chiefs. But they got off to that cold stretch, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see the offense start to roll again. It's starting to look like the Chiefs a little bit more. The defense has been phenomenal. At least 2 turnovers in the last 4 games.
Turned it around.
Yeah, they've been absolutely nuts. Only allowed 9 points in the last 3 games as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or 3 of the last 4, they've allowed only single-digit points. This defense is getting hot. The offense is heating back up. The Chiefs are starting to look like a very dangerous team in the AFC again. And just because of the way the tide's moving, give me the Chiefs to take this win.
Speaking of the Raiders, though, they will be taking on the Browns. Raiders, of course, we mentioned their game. The Browns pulled off a big win against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, of course, I believe sprained his ankle. I think that was the official call, and he missed some of that game. So they were able to kind of come back and take that one. All 4 of us are going to ride with the Browns for this game. Jamil, tell us why.
The Browns, that they started this hard around, obviously with that win last week, but I'm going to go with them because their defense is an absolute unit. They were over there flying around the ball. Myles Garrett, we all know he's great. Led by him, they got some shutdown corner in Denzel Ward, and I think that they're just going to be able to suffocate, and the offense will do their job of running the football. Just make sure Baker doesn't have to do too much, and I think they're going to be just fine. We
also agreed last episode that the Raiders will only win 8 games, and this is not one of those 2 games they're going to win. It is the Broncos and a team later
era, the Derek Carr era.
You talk about how good that Browns defense is. I know Micah Parsons is getting all the love for Defensive Rookie of the Year, but the linebacker in Cleveland, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah,
he's ridiculous.
Dude, the guy's just awesome. He was going to be a top 20 pick, and then they said he had like a heart problem or whatever.
Yeah.
Cleveland was like, yeah, we'll take that chance, and he's one of the best players on their team. That defense is disgusting. I will say this, Derek Carr, I hope you enjoy playing in Cleveland because you need to be playing about 8 games there every year.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting.
I would love it.
So if Carr, RJ, I'll ask you, if Carr goes to Cleveland, where does Mayfield go? New York?
Vegas.
Hell, I don't give a shit.
Dude sucks.
Dude sucks. Go back to, Progressive commercials? He's on my television every 20 seconds. I don't know. Go to Hollywood.
3-team trade.
Get the hell out of Cleveland.
3-team trade between the Raiders, Browns, and hell.
Yeah, the Raiders, the Browns, and the MGM Grand should all have a trade. Send Baker somewhere else where he can just be in commercials all year because, the guy's not good at football. What do you want me to tell you? The dude is in more commercials than he has touchdown passes this year. He's not good. He is holding the Cleveland Browns back. I'm not going to get into this because I could talk for another 20 minutes. Derek Carr, Cleveland Browns quarterback next year.
All right. That's something for another time. I'll ask you that when we have a little more time on our hands. But
Correct.
We'll move to Carolina and Buffalo. Cam's back to the bench. He's back to the bench.
Let's do this.
Let's go, Buffalo.
I'm going to RJ. He's next in the rotation. I'm doing. So, RJ, we all picked Buffalo, obviously. Talk to us about that.
Because Carolina sucks. That's why.
Absolutely.
It's not – and it's not all Cam Newton's fault either. This team isn't good. They've had how many starting quarterbacks the last couple years, and they're not good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Teddy Bridgewater. It doesn't matter if it's PJ Walker. It doesn't matter if it's Sam Darnold. This team is not a good football team. That's all there is to it. Cam has provided somewhat of a spark, but this team just foundationally, like they're not good. They don't have the right offensive line setup. You got guys in the wrong positions. I will never agree with keeping your best cornerback on one side of the field. I think he should always follow the best receiver. So it's a philosophical, I had to think about how to pronounce that word. It's a philosophical approach. Like, Carolina just isn't good. I think Matt Rule's a good coach. I think he needs to go back to college, though. This team needs to just start over. As much as I love Cam Newton, if that means getting a different quarterback and let's just kind of start over, it is what it is. But this team right now, they're not going anywhere. Right now, we're just playing for a better draft pick. So the Bills, they're going to win by like 20.
Speaking of not going anywhere, we have another ugly girl fight. I didn't notice this was here. The Jets and the Dolphins.
Nice.
Jamil, please be swift with this one.
These two teams played really recently, and the Dolphins took care of them. The Dolphins will do it again.
Absolutely.
Do what's a waddle, rinse, repeat.
There you go. Speaking of taking care of them, you're giving me all these segues. Will, we all four of us have the Cardinals beating the Lions. This might shock you, but talk to me about this one.
Oof.
Come on.
All right, Cowboys, Giants.
That's it.
Cowboys, Giants. Dallas trying to move up the seeding. Giants just trying to stay above water, I guess. I don't know what you'd call their season besides terrible. RJ, all four of us have the Cowboys winning this one. Talk to us about that.
I don't know what you want me to say about this one.
They need
Dallas is
Giants
good.
need a coach.
You're talking about the Giants trying to stay above water. I think they're about to drown this week.
Yeah.
Dallas is good.
Did you see them? Did you see the reports that I know we're running out of time? Did you see the reports that Joe Judge is not in the hot seat?
That's false. That's got to be fake news.
That has to be false.
No, it's got to be no.
I saw that. That was so funny.
All honky.
That was unbelievable.
No.
Get that
Falcons, Niners. Niners coming off a big win over, I believe, the Bengals this past week. And all four of us are going to ride their momentum to victory here. The Falcons suck anyway. They just beat the Panthers. But Jamil, talk to me about this one.
It's the battle of the non-running back receiver running backs. Cordell Patterson versus Deebo Samuel. It's the battle of the gadgets. And I think the Niners gadgets, he's been doing a little bit more than this gadget. I think he's a little more swifter than Cordell Patterson. So give me the Niners gadget. I think they're going to be able to run the football, obviously, with Deebo. If Elijah Mitchell comes back, Elijah Mitchell will get a good run. And I just think they're a little bit of a better team than the Falcons.
It's the battle of game managing quarterbacks.
That too. Hey, it's Shanahan's revenge game. He used to be over there with the Falcons.
Disgusting.
The Bengals looking for a bounce back win. They lost in overtime to the Niners last week. The Broncos also one of those trying to stay above water teams. We're not big fans of the Broncos on this channel. I think a few of us have made that well known.
I have no problem with the Broncos.
Well, at least their quarterback.
RJ has a particular problem with their starting quarterback.
Okay.
Me?
You.
I've said they're a little fraudulent, but he has a real issue with that quarterback.
Who do they play this week? Who do the Broncos play?
The Bengals. All four of us are going with
the Bengals.
All four of us are going with the Bengals, RJ. You might as well talk about it.
I don't even want to talk about the Broncos. I just want to say, RIP Demaryius Thomas. That's it.
Oh, yeah. RIP Demaryius Thomas. All right, we'll move to the Packers and the Ravens. All four of us going with the Packers, considering Lamar's sprained ankle. We're not expecting him this weekend, I don't think. Will, talk to me about this one.
I'd give the Ravens some consideration if I knew Lamar was going to be 100%. But because of that, I can't do that. The Packers, we saw what can happen in a half with the Packers if you're down to the Bears.
They got a little bit.
If that's the team that's going to see Baltimore, that's going to be kind of scary. Like 20 some odd 24 unanswered points and a complete shutdown in the second half. I mean, it was ridiculous what the Packers did in an in-division game. I know we suck, but that was a statement. And so give me the Packers.
All right, Rams, Seahawks. The Seahawks look good, but it was against the Texans. How much can you value that? The Rams, just minutes before we started this video, beat the Cardinals in a hard-fought victory. Definitely a big win for them, and they're riding some momentum, and we are going to ride the Rams to a victory here. Jamel, talk to us about that one.
Yeah, like you said in the beginning, how much can we value the Seahawks win over the Texans? Me personally, I'm not going to take too much stock into it. I've been saying for a while now, I think the Seahawks were going down this season. They continue to do it. So go and give me the Rams. They can keep the momentum going. They keep the pressure on Arizona.
All right, RJ, you get to take us home this week. It's the Saints and the Bucks. This matchup is always pretty interesting. Really, anything can happen between these two teams, but all four of us are going with the Bucks.
The Bucks are at home with a chance to clinch the division. They're going to do it.
Easy enough. I agree. And that's been our week 15 pick'em. Catch us next week. We're getting towards the end of the season. You'll start getting playoff previews, if once teams start clinching and things start getting formed up. So stay with us for that. But for Will Polston, Jamel King, and RJ Strope, I've been Matthew Perry. This has been GMs for Hire. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.